My name is Melanie Motz. Most people know me by Mel. I have grown up in Buffalo and have been here my whole life. Grew up in Lakeview, New York, which is a very tight knit community.
How did you decide to become a living kidney donor?
Once I started, hearing about it and learning more about it, I just thought, well, this is something that I really want to do. Um, I've always wanted to make a impact in, everyone's life if I could, but if I can't, save everyone, if I could, at least try and possibly save one life, that, would be an amazing feat. And not to sound selfish, but it does give you a lot of pride knowing that you were able to give part of yourself to someone. One of my childhood friends, her sister had diabetes and started going into kidney failure through that. And, she actually made a post on Facebook saying hey, who wants to give me a kidney? And I just kind of read it and I looked at it and I'm like, huh. I'm like, maybe that's something I could do.
Hmm.
um, so that's when I really kind of started looking into it. And just from there, it's been something I've been very passionate about doing. And thankfully for me, I was able to. Originally, I was, hoping to actually donate to my friend's sister, but unfortunately, she passed before I was able. I was kind of in the wings, but the recipient has to be healthy enough to, go through the transplant. Unfortunately, never got to that point. So after that happened, I still really wanted to find a good cause and, a good human to donate to. And there actually happened to be a man in Lakeview who I knew of, but never actually had met or knew personally. So I kind of reached out to the family, got in contact, and they were actually set up through UPMC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I ended up traveling there to go through the testing. And I remember St. Patrick's Day of that year, I went down for all the pre-op testing and did all that. And that's actually when I got to meet my recipient for the first time
Oh,
because he was also there for his pre-op appointment. So that was a cool experience. And originally the surgery was scheduled for April, but it did get pushed back a couple times just due to a couple little hiccups on the recipient's end. But I finally end up donating in June. My team of doctors was different from the recipient's team of doctors, so they wouldn't have any bias. If anything, they were like, our focus is solely on you. And then there's some doctors where the focus is solely on the recipient. So it's nice you kind of have your own team looking out for your best interests. The recovery was actually fairly easy. I mean, I've had my tonsils out, I've had my adenoids, rhinoplasty, septoplasty. This was probably the easiest recovery of all of them.
good to
I
hear.
mean, my mother was my major support person. She took care of me, but I did have to stay in Pittsburgh for a week. But mostly it was just kind of the abdominal muscles, just trying to get back, sitting up straight, getting that strength back. But other than that, I iced a little bit and just kind of got to just chill and relax for a little bit, lay down. I mean, physically, I was back to 100% within, a couple months afterwards, which is crazy to think about. You basically are down in Oregon and just kind of go back to living life as normal. I was able to get back into playing sports, which was great. So on the physical end, there really hasn't been any changes that have affected me. Mentally, it's just a nice feeling, like I
Hmm.
said, and it's just a wonderful feeling to just know that you made that impact on someone, and I can live with that forever, knowing that I did that. And if anyone is willing and able to do it, I highly recommend it. The experience is, life changing, not just for the recipient, but for you too. That's something that you go through as well. And I know not everyone's going to, be able to kind of have that time. But the nice thing is, the National Living Donor Association helped me out quite a bit with, they covered all my travel expenses, all my hotel. They also, they calculated the mileage I'd have to drive, and they paid for my gas. They gave us a certain, amount of money for food. So if you're worried about expenses, like, that part's covered. And they'll even cover lost wages too if you have to, be out of work and unpaid. Thankfully, I was able to take off of work and had time to take off. So I would say the biggest thing is just have a support system. So for me, my my mom came with me to all my appointments. She was just kind of there as my extra support. She helped me during the healing process, and just having her there for everything made me feel so much better just throughout it all. Like, the spotlight's on the donor and the recipient, but the true heroes are the ones that are, like, sitting, like, right next to both of those, taking care of them, and, getting them to that step and after. I remember when I first started, I could have done it completely anonymously. Um, but I chose to put my name out there just because I know, like, for me, someone I had actually graduated high school with had previously donated a kidney. So just me putting my name out there, if anyone ever does, have any questions or want to talk to someone, I think knowing that there's people out there that are just living their normal lives, it's good to talk to people who have been through it. Um, so I think, yeah, I mean, I think it just takes an open mind and, open heart. Was the best decision of my life for sure.